Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Early Edge. My name is Sia Nejad, and we are brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. We got Jason Pogwist in here. Liddy is in here. Ryan Cofter, Aaron Bailey, Jeff Stenberg. Thanks for being in here. Richard Pierre, Rojo, or Rojo. Hit the like button if you could. Let's see if we like our recap screen. I think we did okay in football. I come through with my pick. Larry comes through with his. Overall, though, 3-4 as the SportsLine pick comes in, but we don't cash any of the other picks. 3 wins, 4 losses. Obviously, got to do better than that. And I think we can just do that. This is a really cool Tuesday crew. We've got buckets. We've got Zack Cimini. We've got Jeff Hochman and Tom Casale. What a mix. I absolutely love to see it. Jeff, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Sia. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. Buckets, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing a little bit rough today. Full disclosure, I spent 4 hours at the dental office yesterday getting emergency dental work done. So talking is not the most optimal thing in the world. If I get stuck, though, Sia knows exactly why I'm taking my best bet, so he'll give all the reasoning that.
That's right. That's right. I know exactly why we're going to Austria versus. I'm not even going to try with the other 2 words there. Tom Casale, are you here for college basketball? Are you here for college football? We do have some college football this morning, but you're here with a college basketball pick, correct?
Yeah, I'm here for college basketball. I had that laughing gas once when I had a root canal. My wife said it was the most pleasant I ever was. She's still trying to buy it on the black market.
Zack Cimini, how you doing today? And I got to ask, because people want to know, is it college basketball today? Is it NBA? What are you bringing to the Early Edge?
I'm bringing NBA. You know, one of the hardest things on the West Coast is getting your plays ready for the Early Edge. So I do my best, but my capping, it takes a while when you're, especially this time of year with so many sports going on. So you'll see a lot of my picks on the site later on in the day, but early in the morning, I've got a prop for you, but I am on the leaderboard in NFL and college football, hoping to maintain for that. Been a great year for both sports, and let's rock.
Absolutely no surprise that you're on top of the leaderboard across multiple sports. If you're not following Zack Cimini on SportsLine, you're not following one of the best cappers. So make sure you're dialed in to him. Hey, Tom, real quick, before we get to our official picks, can I get a lean? We got Western Michigan, Northern Illinois. We've got Akron, Bowling Green. And on CBS Sports Network tonight, we got UMass, Ohio. Any of those 3 games that you have any lean whatsoever? Because I know we don't have an official college football pick. Tom?
I like Bowling Green a little bit.
Okay. Bowling Green minus.
Eddie George came there as the head coach, and I knew it was going to take him a little while to get going, but I like this spot for him.
Just a lean, not an official pick. I'm throwing out that I'm leaning Western Michigan -6, even though the line is pouring. It looks like some money's pouring in on Northern Illinois. I'm just throwing that out there. Let's get to some official picks. Buckets, I hope you can get through this because I don't know that I can help you here. What you got?
Just one bet for me today. I'm not trying to overthink. We've got a couple more big UEFA CONCACAF matches taking place this afternoon, and we're almost done with this international break. So just locking in on one winner at a time here. I'm looking at the matchup between Austria hosting Bosnia and Herzegovina. I really like goals in this fixture. When you get to the final match day of qualifications, a lot of teams don't really have anything to play for anymore. Some teams have already qualified. Some teams have already been knocked out. So you really got to hone in on the teams that are fighting, and both of these teams are fighting for top of their group. If Austria wins or draws in this matchup, they will finish top of their group and automatically qualify for the World Cup. If Bosnia and Herzegovina win this match, they will finish top of the group and automatically qualify, which means Bosnia has to press here. Expect players like Edin Dzeko to really be pressing a high line for Bosnia, and I'm expecting them to get a goal. They've actually scored in every one of their World Cup qualifiers so far, and Bosnia has scored now in 10 of their last 10 matches across all competitions. Even though they're the worst side, they've got a lot of motivation, and they're coming into this match with a chip on their shoulder. I'm going with both teams to score at -110 because Austria at home is good enough to score against anyone, and Bosnia have to press for a goal here, Sia.
I mean, you just went through dental surgery, and you perfectly went through CONCACAF and Herzegovina. I should know how to pronounce that. Buckets, did I kind of get that right?
Sure. I don't know if I said it right, so
it's a hard one
and criticize you.
It's a hard one to say. All right, we've got Austria versus Bosnia Herzegovina. See, I can't. No, both teams have scored -110. See, we can't start off the show with soccer. We got to have soccer like second or third so that I can like get through like, I don't know, the Dallas Stars without any hiccups. Jeff Hochman, you've got a hockey pick. Now, you've got a hockey pick that's not necessarily available at all books. So give out the pick and then give out an alternative way. In case people don't have this, give out an alternative way to bet on the Stars tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Sia. We're going to take the Dallas Stars -1, -105 when I put in at SportsLine. The line has actually gone down. Dallas -1, it's -102. I think it's a fantastic line for the Dallas Stars in this spot. We have the New York Islanders playing their fourth game in 6 days, fourth road game in 6 days, with the last two being at high elevation, Utah and Colorado. That's a very tough spot. Dallas is ranked 12th in high danger shots on goal, and even better than that this month. New York is ranked dead last, 32nd in defending high danger shots on goal. Stars started slow. There's no questions about it, but they have really picked it up. They have a +8 goal differential in their last 10 games. I think they're on a 7-game winning streak. New York Islanders struggling. They have a -3 goal differential in their last 10 games. I think Dallas's speed is going to be way too much to handle for this Islanders team. And also, New York has committed the 5th most penalty minutes in all of hockey this season. And that works well against Dallas's power play, which ranks 2nd, 33.3% scoring rate. In comparison, the Stars have committed the 8th fewest penalties, so they are definitely the more disciplined team. If you cannot find the Dallas Stars -1, -105, and I know most of you cannot, I cannot. I played the regulation line. It's right around -110. You can also use the Dallas Stars on the money line. It's -165. In a parlay piece, you can parlay it with other selections on this show today. I really like the Dallas Stars. I think it's going to get there. 7-3 start in the NHL for yours truly. Let's make it 8-3 with the Dallas Stars. We had the Cowboys completely manhandle the Raiders last night on both sides of the ball. Let's have another team from Dallas get the win tonight. Dallas Stars -1, -105, or the regulation line at -110.
I'm kind of annoyed, Jeff, because that Cowboys game was such an easy one. And I had missed the -3, which was available, and then it was 3.5. So I went with that alternative play, which of course hit halftime, full time, but it's such a unique type of play that I wasn't able to put it in on SportsLine. So I was waiting for, hopefully I was waiting for that 3.5 to rock down to 3. Of course, that was never going to happen. So I didn't get the official play on there. But your reaction, Jeff, to that game, because I just wonder, there's a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans out there. I wonder how relevant they are the rest of the way. Because one thing we mentioned on this show and on CBS Sports Network at 12 o'clock was that this Cowboys defense is a different defense. Doesn't mean they're a good defense, but it does mean they're not a terrible defense. And I thought we saw glimpses of that yesterday.
No, it was my bad taking the Raiders in our contest, which I did cash, by the way.
Nice.
Dallas is going to be much improved going forward. When you add Quentin Williams, Logan Wilson, Ed Oliver, of course, earlier in the season, you can't run on Dallas right now. They look very beefy up front. Mm-hmm. They got healthier in the secondary. Deron Bland played actually one of his best games I've seen all year. I really like Dallas's chances going forward this year. They got reinforcements. Dak Prescott is playing really well. Teams are doubling CD Lamb. Well, George Pickens goes off. Larry Hartstein cashed his drop play rather easily. I think he cashed it before halftime. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think Dallas plays the Eagles next week, and interesting to see where that line ends up. I think right now Dallas is +4.5 at home.
We already got some questions in the chat. Zach, I see a couple for you. But Tom, before we get there, it looks like you're laughing about something in the chat. Talk to us.
No, I was just, Sia, how long do we have to work together before I'm a lifelong Cowboys fan?
Oh, I blocked that out. I'm not interested in anybody being a Cowboys or an Eagles fan. Well, Tom, your reaction.
But I'm your kind of guy. I'm not a homer, baby. You know me. Here's the thing: the Raiders have a top 2 bad offensive line. Them in Houston. Okay, so I get all the kumbaya today, right? It's here come the Cowboys. They beat bad teams. and they don't beat good teams. That's just the way it is. The one thing I'll say is this. God knows I hate to give Jerry Jones any credit, but I think Brian Schottenheimer's doing a heck of a job. This is the most buttoned up Cowboys team I've seen in a while. You don't see the sloppy penalties, the stupid mistakes. So I do agree with Jeff moving forward on that part. But I just wonder when they start to play the better teams, there always seems to be something missing, right? Well, we'll see if that changes.
So we've got some basketball questions. Zach, you go ahead.
All right, this is what I'm going to say. Prime time. The Raiders, we saw the Raiders graphic yesterday on HQ. Dead last in offense. You got Chip Kelly leading the NFL in interception. Second in interceptions, Geno Smith. They'd run the same plays every week. So let's pump the brakes on that. They came off a bye week. You're supposed to win that game. What did they do the 2 weeks before when they could have improved their record?
Yeah, that's a good
blown
point.
Out by Denver. Blown out.
That's a good point by
Jacoby
Zach.
Brissett.
They came off their bye week and they looked a lot better.
Stop talking about the Cowboys.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They have made improvements. We can't just ignore the improvements and say, oh, they lost the previous 2 games without those improvements being there. So I'm not saying they're a great team. I'm just saying they're a slightly different team than maybe we conceived of, particularly on defense. All right, we got to get to Zach. I've got a couple of questions here. Liddy says Phoenix plus 2.5 on the road versus Portland. J Rule, is that Ja Rule maybe out? Thoughts? Zack Cimini.
That's a tricky one because Phoenix has been red hot, and Portland, I was not impressed with the way they played on their recent road trip. So I would stay away from that one right now. I'd have to assess it a little bit further. I did see a question on a couple of props with Derek White, 17.5 points. I do lean over with that. He's taken a lot of shots. We're seeing him put up 18, 19 shots a game. He cleared this in a couple of games last week. Barely got over it against the 76ers. I think he scored like 12 points in the third quarter. So he has that capability with his shot.
Okay, let's get to. I've got a little surprise for everybody. Maybe some of you assumed this was going to happen, but we didn't. We got such a reaction from the Splash Sports contest where we got in pretty short notice. I thought we got over 600 people in it. I think we can get to 1,000 pretty easily, especially if we're going to start to talk about it now. The team at Splash Sports said, hey, early edge team, SportsLine team, you all did such a great job promoting this. Let's run it back. And honestly, it wouldn't shock me at all if we have this next week as well. I don't know, maybe the following week as well. I'm really not sure about any of that. What I do know is that we did a great job and we're running this thing back again. Free money on the line. We had a 5-way tie for first, which means I believe the top 5 ended up getting, this is what I saw on the site, $115 each. I could be wrong about that, and I'll have to get that verified. But we had a 5-way tie. I'll read off the names later on in the show as I don't have them in front of me. But we're running this back. Just get to splashsports.com/earlyedge, and that's how you sign up for the contest. A lot of you are already signed up for Splash Sports thanks to last week. So, all you have to do is just go back in and rerun the contest. But if you're not there, if you didn't sign up last week, again, $1,000 in real cash is up for grabs in a free pick'em contest. No entry fee, real prizes, and bragging rights on the line. All you need to do is pick all 13 games. You've got one game that you're going to designate as a special game that's going to be worth 2. Top prize is $250 in cash, and we're paying out the top 50 finishers, so you don't have to be perfect to win. Just head to splashsports.com/earlyedge. Again, splashsports.com/earlyedge. Buckets, go ahead.
If you want, I can read out the top 5 victors. I've got it pulled up in front of me here.
Please do.
We had a 5-way tie between Graham MG, the John Nay, Lemon Squares, Joel Pinto Beans, and KHL 33386. Also, I finished tied for 229th, so not too bad. I didn't get dead last in this. Pretty stoked about that.
I actually don't know where I finished. I think I did really poorly. I had a terrible.
We tied. You and I tied. We're the
same.
Get
out of here.
We're the same. 222nd.
This is bad news.
Woo!
I was hoping I was at least a few spots
We're the
ahead
same
of you.
person. Let's go. See, we both got 6 points.
One other thing to mention as we're going to discuss college basketball in a second. BetMGM players, I'm just ignoring what Bucket said. I'm just pretending it's not to you. BetMGM players will receive a no-sweat bet to apply to any college basketball bet. To use the token and bet on a college basketball event, add a bet on a college basketball event to your bet slip and activate the token. If your bet loses, you will receive bonus bets. Pre-registration for the state of Missouri is now open. Okay, just sign up for BetMGM Sports during the pre-registration period, and you will receive $100 in bonus bets on the first day BetMGM Sports goes live in Missouri, plus get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets. Wow. Exclusive to residents of Missouri. That's pretty cool. All right, we got to get to a break, and we got to get to more picks. We're going to do that right after this message from our partners.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But thanks to CBS Sports, you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Buckets is still sinking in that we tied. I gotta do better next week. Buckets, before we get to the Texas A&M pick from Tom Casale, Denmark versus Scotland asks Jay Long, both teams to score is -125.
I don't hate it. It's just kind of a tough one because both of these teams play at a certain level and didn't do that in their recent match. We saw Scotland lose to Greece, and we saw Denmark draw against Belarus. So not a good performance from either side. It's kind of tough to see how they bounce back in the final match of the group qualifying. I would take it personally, but don't go more than like a unit on this. This is a very tricky matchup.
All right, let's get to some college basketball. Tom, I kind of hate when this happens, when people who are members of SportsLine, they get your pick right away, but then it's such a good pick that the line moves kind of drastically. And so now you're putting what the line is right now. So please make it clear when you give out this pick what SportsLine members got and what the line is right now and whether you support the line right now.
Yeah, listen, college basketball is tough because I don't know. I don't think there's another sport where early in the season lines move 4, 5, 6 points, right? Line moved 7 points last week. Just think about that. In football, that means Patrick Mahomes isn't playing, right? If a line moves 7 points, it's got to be something that drastic. So it's simple. There's a million games. Odds makers don't always hit the lines right early in the season. So I gave out Texas A&M 14.5 on the opener at FanDuel. That's up to 17.5 now. When I gave it out, I said bet up to 17. So maybe take this for a half unit, maybe try to play it live, maybe a first or second half if you want. But I do like the Aggies in this spot tonight. And here's why. They're coming off 2 losses against UCF and Oklahoma State, not even close, right? So the early season struggles don't surprise me. They bring in Bucky McMillan from Samford. He's got 10 new players. He's playing his Bucky ball style of basketball, a frenetic pace, pressing, quick shots. Tonight they have an opponent where they can really impose their will on in Montana. Montana wants to play fast too, but they rank 331st in bench minutes right now. And I know it's early, but they're only playing about 7 guys. So you're going to have that deep, athletic Texas A&M team pressing them all night. I think they're going to wear them down. And when you look at these Big Sky teams, when they go to the NCAA tournament, they don't have any success. And the reason is they're just not athletic enough. So while Texas A&M is coming off 2 straight losses, I think tonight they have the opponent to get right. I like them to win big at home.
All right, Texas -17.5. But again, SportsLine members got this at Texas A&M -14.5. So make sure, I think most of the people that are listening to this show right now are members of SportsLine, and therefore they got this at 14.5. If you're not, for whatever reason, sportsline.com/join, type in the promo code winners, you get 60% off the annual plan. Again, sportsline.com/join. Let's go to the NBA. Zack Cimini, how about you hit us with an NBA prop for tonight?
Yeah, see, I'm going to go with Cedric Coward of the Memphis Grizzlies over on his points prop over 12.5. It's a chance for the rookie to expand his role now with the Memphis Grizzlies because Ja Morant has that calf issue. He'll be out for a couple of weeks. Really wasn't helping the team anyway, but you look at Cedric Coward, each of his last 3 games, he's went right under his prop, 10 points, 11 points, 12 points. The reason for that, he's been struggling from beyond the arc 3 of his last 17. If you do remember, he began the year 65% from beyond the arc in the first 5 games. So I think we can get that extra 3 or 2 tonight from Cedric Coward, who's taking on the San Antonio Spurs team that has severe defensive lapses as of late in losses against the Golden State Warriors. They blew double-digit leads in that second game. They were up 95-85 in the fourth quarter. Also got got away with it against the Chicago Bulls. They were up double digits, blew that lead, were able to win by 4 points. I think Cedric Coward, who has had the energy, he's their second leading rebounder on the team, right behind Aldama, averaging 7 rebounds per game in the month of November. He's cleared double-digit points in 9 out of his last 10 games. I like Coward over 12.5 points tonight.
All right, we're taking Coward over 12.5 points. Do you have any comments on Katie Taylor says, Zach, and if you don't have a take on this, that's okay. Take Collier over 6.5 assists. She said she got it at minus 120 last night. It's minus 140 now, if you don't mind the juice. Any thoughts on Isaiah Collier?
That's a tough one for me. I'd have to break it down. But the Utah Jazz, every time you watch them, seems like everyone's involved on that team. They're one of the higher scoring teams in basketball. So if you like Collier, I say go with it. That's definitely a high assist prop and juicy as well. So must be a reason for it.
Yeah, Katie is one of the sharper ones, if not the sharpest, that watches this show. If you have a pick, drop it in the chat. Maybe we don't read it on the show because we don't have time for whatever reason, but at least the rest of the people in the chat, the hundreds, if not thousands that are all watching on other platforms as well, will get a chance to, and even really the audio podcast listeners, if I can at least read it out, maybe we'll get some people listening to even more picks. Let's see. Jay Long, Islander. This is for you, Jeff Hochman. Islanders versus Stars. How about the over? I know you like the Stars. How about the over 6.5 goals at plus 105?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would lean over. You know, I like the Dallas Stars to win by 2 or more goals. So I do think there's going to be at least that's tough. 6, 7. You know what? I would go with the over, but as you could tell, I don't like it. I mean, I'm not. My totals in the NHL, like I try to stay away from them. It's so hard for me to predict totals in the NHL.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the Stars could be up 3-2, right? The team pulls the goalie, then they score one, and if you had the under, you lose on that. So yeah. To answer your question, I can only go over that total.
Okay. Tom, I don't know if you have anything on this. Darren Mercurio wants to know, how do you feel about New Haven plus 23.5 at minus 110 against the bad shooting Seton Hall Pirates?
Yeah, listen, I certainly wouldn't lay 23.5 with Seton Hall. New Haven is a newer school, though. They've had some issues getting blown out. I just feel like, for me, there's better games on the board. You know, I would take the points or nothing here. Seton Hall, you're right, doesn't shoot the ball well enough, but their defense is going to bother New Haven. So that one's going to be a pass for me.
Zach, by any chance, do you have any thoughts on Taj Omari L's question? Iona minus 3.5 at minus 115. Did you look at that one?
I have not. Who are they?
Okay.
Who are they playing? Give me the team, and maybe I'll have an assessment.
Yeah, I don't know, but
playing?
if you want to put that in the, go ahead. I thought somebody was chiming. I mean, if you want to put that in the chat, whoever asked the question, Tosh, that would be super, super helpful. All right, let's go to, I gotta read Lydia's comment. Lydia Yanez says, hey guys, I haven't watched you guys live in so dang long due to work, but I like, subscribe, and watch every day. And clearly you're watching live right now. Lydia, thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate not just the people that watch live, but the podcast listeners on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Really appreciate everybody tuning in every single day, which so many of you do. Buckets, did we miss any soccer questions?
I do want to give out a couple leans. There are 2 more matches that I broke down on Galazzo just as like fun bonus plays you can play. In CONCACAF tonight, Guatemala is hosting Suriname. If Suriname win the after match this evening, they will qualify for the World Cup for the first time in the nation's history, and Guatemala is already out of the competition. I really do like Suriname money line at plus 105, plus 110 number. Also, USA play tonight in an international friendly against Uruguay. I have absolutely no idea how to bet this game. Historically, I usually bet against the USA, and historically, I lose a lot of money doing that. So I would stay off of it. Uruguay are missing players like Darwin Nunez and Valverde, so they're not going to have their best attack. This one screams a KG 0-0, maybe 1-1. You could maybe play USA double chance, but just be very careful on that match until lineups.
So, Zach, the Iona plays Princeton. Big Cheesy, by the way, says, I don't mind Duke minus 10.5. Zach, any thoughts on Iona minus 3.5 against Princeton?
My initial take, I just know with Princeton, they lost the key guy to Florida. Anytime there's those big transfers that leave, I think there is a little value on those type of teams. So they also lost a big man. I believe he graduated as well. I haven't seen Princeton play yet, but I'm just saying from just an assessment, a small number, and with the players they lost, I think that's a value for Princeton.
All right, I'm going to give out a quick play for the RSM Classic, and hand up if anybody wants to chime in before we get to the recap screen, because I missed a question. Liddy says, does Buckets have a dentist he could recommend? Jeff, I saw your hand there. I'm going to give out Seamus Power top 30 at plus 160. I will tell you that when we do the early wedge, it's actually not going to be tonight at 7. It's going to be because of scheduling issues. It's going to be tomorrow at 6 o'clock on this SportsLine YouTube channel with the same crew, Jason Sobel, Rick Gaiman, Patrick McDonald, and myself. Seamus Power top 30 plus 160. The top 30 market is only over at DK, at least for now. That's okay, because I think you can take top 20 or even top 40. Top 40 markets aren't out everywhere, but top 20 markets are out everywhere. And the Seamus Power top 20 is in the plus 230 range, anywhere between plus probably 220 and plus 250 is where you can get it. So Power's not a guy I usually back, but at the RSM Classic, he's been really, really good. He had to withdraw last year, but the 2 prior times he was top 5. And what I love about Power is that he's really showing off some of his game over the last 4 or 5 events. He's been very good. You look at the finishing position. Some have been a little shaky, but he's making cuts. And then his last 2 tournaments, he's actually played really well and thrown himself in contention here and there. So I think Seamus Power's game is coming on. His course history is very good. I think the course fit is just fine. And I think top 30 is a cozy place for him to be at plus 160. But again, if you don't have this market, I don't mind the top 20 market in that plus 230 range. And I will say this. My first clicks, I always do first clicks. I put out a tweet, and I usually like take a couple of guys before I even do any research, because these are my instinct plays. Seamus Power was one of them at 65 to 1. I bet William Mao, I think at 80 to 1, little sprinkle on that. I think he's going to have a tough time winning, but I think it's possible. And then I had one other guy, and I'm trying to remember who it was. It was 70 to 1, Sami Valimaki, who I don't think has much course experience here, but I think is a guy that can absolutely go out and win a tournament in a field like this. So those are all between 65 and 80 to 1, but on the early wedge, I'll have a couple of more, probably at shorter odds. We'll do first-round leaders, matchups, all of that fun stuff. All right, Jeff Hochman, I gave out my golf play. What you got in hockey?
Brad Morris wanted to know, he didn't know the starting goalies for Dallas and the Islanders. I think it's going to be Sorokin for the Islanders and Ottinger for the Stars. If the Stars go with backup Casey DeSmith, I'm fine with that. He's like one of the best backups in all of hockey.
All right. Thanks for answering that question. Let's see. I think I didn't see any other hands up. Let's get to the recap screen and get everybody out of here. Like I said, I've got Seamus Power top 30 at plus 160. I also bet him in the outright market at 65 to 1. Austria versus Bosnia-Herzegovina. Both teams to score minus 110. That's from Buckets. But if you listen to the show, the entire show, of course, you got some leans from Buckets as well. Texas A&M minus 17.5 from Tom Casale. Don't forget, if you're a SportsLine member, you got that at 14.5. That seems like a pretty big difference. Cedric Coward over 12.5 points, minus 111 from Zack Cimini. And then Jeff Hochman, Dallas Stars, minus 1, minus 105. But he gave you alternative ways to bet that if you don't have that specific market. If you're just listening to the recap screen portion of the show for some reason, go back and listen to everybody's take, because they're adding some nuance from a betting perspective, but also giving you the analysis as well. All right. I don't know that we have any SportsLine picks today. Of course, I'm sure we'll have some tomorrow. And we'll have a whole nother crew to give you our best bets right here on the early edge. Again, I can't, well, we'll be reminding you all week, because again, we got, I think between like around 650 or so in that early edge week 11 contest. For the week 12 contest, most of you are already signed up. So all you got to do is enter, like literally click the button to enter and make your pick and picks. But bring a friend along. Let's get this thing to 1,000. There's just no reason not to build this up, because you never know. And I'm not calling this. I don't know what's going to happen, but you never know. We start to get more and more people. We get more and more contests from Splash Sports. And who knows, maybe there's going to be more money on the line next year when we do this, or later on this year. I have no idea, but that's generally how these things work. Let's get this as popular as possible. So send this link to your friends. Bring them along. Splashsports.com/early edge. Buckets, go ahead.
If you follow me on Twitter, I'm tweeting out the link right now saying that I just tied with Sia. So try to beat me and Sia, because we're the same person with the same skill levels. So make sure you join and see if you can beat us.
Oh, that's so embarrassing. This is not the way to close the show, but here we are. All right, I guess. Thank you, Buckets, for joining the show and adding that tweet. Go check that tweet out. That Buckets John Betts. Jeff Hochman, thanks for joining us. Tom Casale, Zack Cimini. You'll be seeing all of these people all week on CBS Sports HQ, on the Early Edge, on our college football and NFL shows. So make sure you're dialed into this SportsLine YouTube channel where most of this content gets posted. Buckets is also now a lawyer, says Philip Terrasas, which means, Buckets, you've got to close the show.
My mouth really hurts.
We rest our case.